Come to Helmuth Ford, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Hi, this is Stacy from Shuttler Insurance Services. Come see me on the east side of the square in Sigourney for all your insurance needs.
The Keokuk County Sheriff's Office is currently taking applications to fill 2 open positions for Deputy Sheriff. Applications for the first round of testing should be turned in on or before July 25th, 2025. Applications can be downloaded at the Keokuk County website at keokukcounty.iowa.gov/jobs. You can also contact the Keokuk County Sheriff's Office at 641-622-2727. For complete job information and starting wage information, go to the Keokuk County Sheriff's Office Facebook page or again, keokukcounty.iowa.gov/jobs. Wrestling returns to the Delta Dome in Delta, Iowa with Central Empire Wrestling on Saturday, August 2nd at 7 p.m. Austin Bayless makes his long-awaited return to the ring. Plus Jared Thumb, Rory Fox, Kelsey Magnolia, and Sage Hale, along with the whole cast and crew of CEW, will be on hand August 2nd at the Delta Gymnasium. Advance tickets are just $20 and $25 at the door. Get your tickets at CentralEmpireWrestling.com. Professional wrestling makes its long-awaited return to the historic Delta Dome in Delta, Iowa, Saturday, August 2nd. The Keokuk County Expo in Sigourney presents the Faster Horses with opening act Neva Alden in concert Friday, July 18th at the Keokuk County Expo in Sigourney. The Faster Horses are your one-stop shop for both kinds of music, country and western. If you like high-energy 90s style country music, you're gonna love the Faster Horses. And Neva Alden is one of the best up-and-comers on the Iowa country music scene. It'll be here before you know it. The concert at the Keokuk County Expo in Sigourney on Friday, July 18th. Hey, welcome in. It's Tuesday Night Tune-Up here on Steve Shuttler Media, Facebook and YouTube, also on Skunk River Radio, Facebook, and you might be listening to this at 9 o'clock on this Tuesday evening on Skunk River Radio. We do thank all of our sponsors for making the show possible. That includes, of course, our host, which is the Oskaloosa Pizza Ranch. We are also thanking Copeland Auto Body, Sinclair Napa, Sigourney Body Shop, Sigourney Motors, James Family Greenhouse, and Nutrien Ag Solutions in Keswick, Iowa. Let's go to Safe. Safe, you've got a table full of guys hanging out with you this evening. And, of course, we want to put in a plug for Pizza Ranch. Safe, take it away.
Absolutely. Well, welcome back, race fans, to TNT, the Tuesday Night Tune-Up, but we are here on a Monday night, so it is now the Monday Night Tune-Up this week. And, man, it's just an incredible week here in Southeast Iowa. We have the Southern Iowa Fair going on this week, so make sure you stop over there and check everything out that is fair-related there. This week we have 2 nights of racing, well, actually 3. The first 2 will have our Wednesday night racing with the Caleb Hammond Memorial, the 7th annual, and that's presented by Outer Limits Truck Repair. And then the next night we will have the Sprint Invaders in town with hobby stocks and stock cars as well. And then Saturday night we will have the Dirt Dog Promotion Redneck Rally Fair edition, so a lot of great racing to catch this week at the Southern Iowa Speedway and for the Southern Iowa Fair, so make sure you guys come out to that. And with me tonight, I have a Hall of Famer and a future Hall of Famer with me. So we're going to talk here a little bit about Oskaloosa Pizza Ranch, and then we'll get with Brad and Pat here in just a few minutes. But the Oskaloosa Pizza Ranch has a lot going on this week. Wednesday night is their drive for back to school, so bring different school supplies to donate and whatnot to United Way of Oskaloosa. They will have a drop box here for a whole month, so make sure you come and bring some school supplies for the kiddos. And don't forget, tomorrow night is Kids Night here at the Oskaloosa Pizza Ranch, where kids eat free for 12 and under. They also have a new late night buffet going on Monday through Wednesday. It is $9.99, 7 p.m. to close, so make sure you guys come out here for a late night fixing of some chicken here at the Oskaloosa Pizza Ranch. So we are going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be back with Brad Pinkerton and Pat Rachels in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
When you need a break, Pizza Ranch is ready. Rough day or good day, sometimes you just need a buffet. And we've got all your favorites always ready to serve. Come to the place that puts a smile on your face. Make it a buffet day at Pizza Ranch.
At Copeland Auto Body, we strive to be the area's consistent provider of advanced collision repair. We want all of our customers to have a stress-free experience when they bring their car to Copeland Auto Body. Give them a call at 641-653-2140. Find them online at CopelandAutoBody.com. Copeland Auto Body, located in Hedrick, Copeland Collision Center in Oskaloosa, and Copeland Towing and Recovery in Sigourney. For auto body and towing for Hedrick, Oskaloosa, and Sigourney, see Copeland Auto Body. Got a problem under the hood? At Sinclair Napa, we're here to help. No matter if you're tuning up the family car, gearing up your heavy-duty truck, or maintaining your boat, we have the know-how you need to keep your ride running strong. Whether it's top-notch parts, expert advice, or unbeatable customer service, Sinclair Napa is your one-stop shop for all your automotive needs. Because at Sinclair Napa, we don't just sell parts, we're here to help you get the job done. Stop by today in Sigourney, Montezuma, Williamsburg, Centerville, or Ottumwa, or visit us at SinclairNapa.com. If you've had a run-in with a deer, a fender bender, or any sort of accident with your vehicle, take it to Tony and the guys at Sigourney Body Shop at 210 West Clark Street in Sigourney. They'll get you back on the road in no time, and Tony will help you out with a free estimate. It's service with a smile at Sigourney Body Shop. Give them a call at 641-622-2022, or again, stop in at 210 West Clark Street in Sigourney. All right, we are back here at the Oskaloosa Pizza Ranch for a Monday night edition of the Tuesday Night Tune-Up. And let's get to it. Safe, again, with his drivers for this evening here at the Pizza Ranch. Safe, take it away.
All righty, welcome back, race fans, to TNT, the Tuesday Night Tune-Up on a Monday edition. And again, with me tonight, we have Brad Pinkerton, who is a Hall of Famer at the Southern Iowa Speedway. And Brad, we want to thank you for coming on here tonight.
Yep, appreciate it. Thank you.
And with us as well, he comes from Knoxville, Iowa, but now calls China Hook.
China Grove.
China Grove, thank you. China Grove. Oh, boy. But North Carolina home. So Pat Rachel's with us here tonight as well. Pat, thanks for making the drive from North Carolina to come back and do some racing here and coming on TNT with us.
You got it. Yep, glad to be here.
So, guys, this is cool because both of you raced for a while at the same time period, so it's cool to have two guys that know about the better days, I would say, of racing when there was a lot more going on. It seemed there were a lot more cars, and now things have changed drastically, I would say, from at least a point of view from on my side. And so why don't we just talk about first a little bit, we'll start with Brad and then go to you, Pat, on what got you into racing and the stages of now.
Well, I don't know, probably as soon as I had enough money to get my own car, I started figure eight racing and kind of ran Barn City Watch here. And I don't know, I remember being at a driver's meeting and realizing I was in the minority of sober people.
That sounds accurate.
I thought maybe this wasn't quite for me, that there was a lot to chance in that race, and they were probably going to be braver in the intersection than I was. So it was about a year later, I bought Bob Krause's hobby stock. He just won the track championship the year before, and that's kind of how it all started. I thought I'd start with a good car that was a proven winner, and went out the first year and literally destroyed that thing because I was not all that good, and just kind of kept progressing up from hobby stock to stock car. Had a stint in a sprint car, and then a lot of time in a modified and stock car after that.
Absolutely. Pat?
Yeah, my dad raced for years, so I grew up around it. And when I was, and my mom actually raced as well out here at Oski for a couple years.
She did?
Yeah,
wow,
she ran hobby stocks in,
right.
I want to say 94, 95, 93, 94, something like that. So then when I turned 14, back then IMCA you couldn't run when you were 14. You had to have a driver's license. So I figured out that at Vinton they had an unsanctioned hobby stock class you could run when you were 14. And I talked Mom into letting me run her old hobby stock, which had been sitting out behind the garage outside for 4 or 5 years at that point, and so she said as long as I worked on it and put it together, then they'd take me racing, So I started racing hobbies at Vinton. in 2000, and then once I was old enough, we come run hobby stocks here at Oski and moved up stock car. And then after I moved down south, did a little bit of pavement racing, and now we're back to running stock car again. So.
Absolutely. So, racing has evolved quite a bit from, when you started for you, Pat, and now where it's at, and then from where you were at, Brad, and now, you ran a vintage car last week here at the Southern Iowa Speedway that wasn't necessarily all that vintage, but I mean, but seeing, and I know you keep up with it, the changing and the evolution of these cars and where it was to where we are now. How do you guys feel about that?
Good.
Yeah, I mean, it's the technology, and the money it takes to do it is the big thing, and it seems like racing, it doesn't really matter what class it is. It starts out fairly economical, and then as people get more competitive and more money gets in it, then it gets more expensive, and it kind of prices itself out a lot of times. And you've kind of seen that around here with the modifieds, and I feel like the stock cars are kind of headed that way a bit. It's just to be competitive and run up front. It just keeps forever costing more, right? So then you see new classes coming in, kind of at the bottom and fill it in, and it's like we got our 4 cylinders now, and then you see like the Crown Vics are starting to pop up a lot of places for your more budget guys, and so it seems like there's always people that want to do it. It's just having a class that anybody that wants to do it can afford to run. Yeah,
for sure. I don't know if I'd have got into it if it was as expensive as it is now, because when I got into it, it was, I think I bought Bob Krause's car roller with it, as a complete package, engine, drivetrain. It was $3,000, and I went racing, so you certainly wouldn't do that nowadays with everything with an engine and everything in it. But I agree with Pat that you start these new classes. I remember when the B mods came out, it was, find an old modified and A mod sitting in the weeds, pull it out. You can race that. Now you're buying rollers that are $30,000 to race B mods. I mean, it changed. It takes a lot of money to do it, and I feel sorry for the young people that are trying to get into it, because it's tough nowadays.
I mean, that's how I feel. I mean, if you look at an IMCA rule book for sport compacts when they first came out to where they are today, it's basically a hobby stock. I mean, not in a sense of they look the same or anything, but the amount of money that these guys are putting into these things. I mean, you're getting tuned ECMs, and you're doing, balance shaft deletes with lightweight balance shafts, and guys are taking Grand Caravan rear hubs and putting them on these and cutting brake lines and doing this and that. I mean, and now all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, if you want to put an aftermarket front nose on these things, go ahead and do that. I mean, it's really sad because, there are some young kids that are trying to race out here or anywhere in these classes, in that class, and they can't be competitive.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
A big part of it, too, is, back like when Brad started, all the stuff was stuff you go to the junkyard and buy.
Right.
And that was, everybody's put their stuff together with used stuff, and they were still making them. I mean, like the metric cars, they were still making them. And some of them, they started racing the older ones before they quit manufacturing new ones. And now we're still racing the same car on the stock car side. So it's like, that's the nice thing about your 4-cylinder classes. You can at least still go get some parts at the junkyard. You can mix and match stuff from different cars, and you can have some ingenuity at the shop to make you better, where you don't always have to go just buy something,
Yeah. I don't know, it's crazy to see where we have evolved. And I know that you guys can both talk about, how hard it was. And, I was younger when all of this was going on and just a fan in the stands, but the car counts and the racing action, I mean, I was telling you about this. A couple guys I told them, I said, hey, Brad's going to be running a vintage car at Oski. And then they're like, you remember that time with USMTS? He started 18 and drove through the whole field and won. And he had the spoiler ripped off, and the whole side of the car was just caved in because he's running on the fence. We watched that video on YouTube probably 8 or 9 times. But so you guys can kind of talk about here a little bit, like, how hard, and it still is, you have to be very good to run at Oski, but kind of what was it like back when, you were having B, C mains and classes every week, and running with USMTS and USRA?
Yeah, I don't know. Running at Oski, I don't know. That's all I grew up on is raced Oski. It wasn't, the speed that you get with Oski, the kind of inherent risk that comes with it. If you get in a wreck, you're probably junking a car or you're going to a
Right.
frame machine. That's honestly what probably keeps some people away from Oski is, you go to Boone and you get sideways and get tore up. You maybe replacing an A-frame or something and some sheet metal, but you're not junking the car. The risk at Oski's pretty high, but I don't know. I didn't know any better, and that's what I grew up on. So you just did it, right? But yeah, it was always just fast. And back in the day when we had a lot of cars, it always dried out, and that always just kind of leaned into where I was better. Probably didn't always have as much motor as everybody else, but that was probably something that helped once it dried out. It made a race, and it took a while for me to get pretty good on dry slick. I think if I think back to my hobby stock, this is where I said I was hard on Bob Krause's car. I think third night out in that car, we had valve train issues. I started deep in the field and won. So I was on top of the world. I've been racing for 3 weeks and won. The next week I went out, everybody backed off going into 3. I was passing everybody. I was king of the world. I realized what dry slick was, and I went around so quick and caught the left side tires and flipped that car, and I was dumb and fired it back up, drove it in the pits. They changed my tire, roof all flat. They let me go back out for some reason, and came back up through the field, and I think I finished 10th or something. But yeah, after that, I got a lot more respect for dry slick and got a lot better at it.
Yes, Oski's always been tough. You go way back. My dad used to help John Moss and Ron Hempstead, them guys way back in the day, and they, even then, it's like the car count was never the most cars of the tracks in the area, but it was always the best cars. And if you could win at Oski, you were right up there with the best. Nobody goes out on a Wednesday night that isn't serious about it, and so you end up with the best cars. People that are really really committed to their programs.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing I want to talk about now is we're seeing an evolution like we talked about with these cars, and the big one to talk about, since you're in this class still, and you have a new Vanderbilt car, and you raced stock cars for a long time and had a lot of success, is stock car racing right now, I feel, is, like you said, Pat, it's becoming the next modified. As far as the characteristics of these cars, how you see them, what you're seeing on the track with them, and then you want to look at price, and we're having, 10,000 win stock car shows. Well, that's not really that abnormal. That's kind of always been a big payout for a stock car, but now you're seeing a lot of those, and now we're seeing 100,000 to win stock car races. I mean, it's crazy that we're getting to this point where they're having, in my opinion, where we're having 100,000 to win stock car races. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but
Yeah, it's nice to see. I mean, I think when I won the 10,000 to win out here, that's back in 2005, and 10,000 was a lot of money in 2005. There's, few and far between modified. You'd see 100K shows. I ran one down in Batesville. It's neat to see. I always question how they get that much money rounded up to, because it's not like you're not even getting Boone type of numbers, you might get that race last year was like 200 cars or something. Mm-hmm. Boone was getting 400 and paying 2,000 to win. It's crazy that money doesn't always bring all the cars. It's always kind of surprised me.
Yeah, it's cool. I think it's neat. They're big events, and you get a lot of excitement around them, and they're usually a couple days. It's like it's kind of make a vacation out of it.
Right.
But I'm kind of with Brad. It seems like it'd be hard to sustain, without a bigger car count.
Yeah, that's what I find so odd is how these payouts happen, and I don't know. For me, 100,000 is really cool to win, but I mean the payout through the rest of the field sucks. pretty bad. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it depends.
You know,
It's decent. Anyway, if you make the show,
Right.
you come out okay, But then they if you're down in the alphabet somewhere, right, it's a little bit lighter.
that is.
That Batesville race that I ran that was 100,000 win, Scott Bloomquist rolled in a black car with no decals on it, kicked everybody's butt. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's crazy to see that where, I mean, you have guys now like, Ricky Thornton Jr. is a prime example of a guy who is, he's great about anything he gets in, and you're starting to see that now with Dallin Murray as he's getting into a late model, but he's still really good in a stock car, and I think the future, in my opinion, for racing is that somehow, though, the cost of everything's something needs to happen, because there are a lot of, I think, very talented young drivers that are in go-karts and stuff right now where I think and some of them are on, quite a budget. And to see them want to come up and race, I think we're in just a really weird spot right now. I mean, what are you guys kind of seeing?
Yeah, racing, I don't know. You look through like Southern Iowa and there's pockets, right? I mean, you get some tracks that are struggling to get enough cars to, have 10 cars or whatever, and then you go to Marshalltown and they get decent car counts. So I don't know. I think you'll like anything, you get attrition and tracks are going to go away, and some tracks are going to figure it out, like Eldon Bloomfield, that they can't run weekly. They're going to have to kind of do something a little spotty to survive, and yeah, it's unfortunate, but the money just keeps it down, and fuel costs. I mean, all of that just it's hard to do if you work for a living,
Right.
Yeah, and it seems like some of that stuff kind of cycles too. Like you'll have 8 or 10 years where it's really good at one track and not so good at the other track, and then maybe personnel switches around or whatever, and it'll kind of swing a different way, and then you'll pick up cars at this track and lose cars at that track, and it seems like every 10 years or so it kind of flip flops around. It's just kind of, I don't know, just it's sort of whatever people perceive as the place to go race right now is where they go, right? So it's kind of subjective too for some.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, Brad, we did get to see you back in a car last Wednesday night. Why don't you kind of talk us through how that came about, and then what your thoughts were on your performance on Wednesday night?
Yeah, so kind of John Hunnels, who I drove in for, and is back in like late 90s, early 2000s, when apparently I had way more time on my hand than I do now. I was running a stock car 4 nights a week, so we would run Oski on Wednesday, then we'd go to Columbus Junction on Friday, Donaldson Saturday, and then we'd go up to Eldora on Sunday. And I always parked next to John Hunnell up at Eldora, so we got to become pretty good friends. And flash forward to 2012, I think it was. I'd sold my mod. I was out of racing. I went out here to Oski just to watch, and ran into him just outside the bathroom, and he asked where my car was, and I joked and said, well, if I had one of yours, I'd have something to race. And he brought one down the next week. So for about the next 4 or 5 years, I ran a car for him, and then we've always just stayed in touch, stayed friends. And he had texted me he always texts me when he's got something cool with race cars going on. So when he was building that big body Camaro, he was sending me pictures of it. And then, a couple weeks ago, he sent me a text and just said, hey, you want to drive this other car if I bring it down? And yeah, it's good stuff. So I want to drive his other car if he brings it down.
And that's cool. You've been able to keep that relationship through all the years, and it was really cool as someone who was a spectator and is still a spectator to see you. I remember when you drove his car, and then to see you get back with him and drive for him again. I mean, as a fan, I think that was one of the coolest highlights.
Yeah, I was kind of outgunned in that deal because his car is a pretty nice car, and it has big late model tires on it, and I was running just IMCA stock car tires, so I was kind of wasn't matched up good, but I could hang with him and I could roll to his outside, and his one rule was don't scuff my car. So I couldn't touch him, which you wouldn't want to with those Camaros because there's not much for bumpers on them. And so I thought, well, if nothing else, we're going to have a lot of good photos of me running around in here. So
yeah, it was awesome. And so, we got to see you back on the track, getting out, and then we saw you in a new car. And why don't you tell us a little bit about that venture
Sure,
on that front?
sure.
Because last time I talked to you, which was still when dirt and asphalt was a thing, you did not have a new car, nor was that probably going to happen for a while.
No, well, and it didn't for a while. So when I started on a stock car in 2005, we bought a brand new SES car, which is what Steve Jackson was running in, and that's what I use for hobby stocks as well. And that's the only stock car I'd had until about a month ago. So when we decided to start making these trips back, initially they were just kind of vacation trips for fun, come party, see friends, get a little racing in. But as we kept doing it more often, and it's a pretty big investment to make a trip back like that. So it's like, well, if we're going to do it, we probably need to step up our game a little bit. And I spent a bunch of time on that car, cutting up mounts and moving stuff around and trying to make it competitive. And I feel like we were close-ish, but it was like the track had to be just right for it. And if it wasn't, it was a handful. I really had to work hard to kind of keep up. So we came back a couple months ago and really struggled. Spun out by myself, wrecked myself and a few other people, which is not fun, right? Like that's not what you want to do. So that was sort of like, okay, time out. We got to do something else. And I've been shopping around a little bit. And Zach stuff's really come on strong here in the last year and a half, pretty much since he started building stock cars, and decided to go that route. And so far, I'm really, really happy with it. It's aside from it being a super nice car and great craftsmanship on it and stuff, it's really fast. So
yeah. It seems like it's weird where, back in the day it was like, if you're doing hobby stock racing, for a while it was SCS. I mean, that was the thing that everyone wanted or whatever. And then, on stock cars, you always heard, if you don't have a Terminator, you're not really going to win a race, or if you don't have this. And then now we have some of these new chassis companies like Zach stepping in, and, it's nice to finally see one, closer to here. It's been a while. I mean, the last one you had was Schroeder, and but now we're seeing this new era of cars, and to have Zach close, for me, it's cool to see that, because that's how it was with Schroeder's for a long time. Was
yeah,
I'm sure you guys
his stuff was really good too back in the day. And he's actually working there now.
Does anyone know how that deal happened besides me going to Zach and asking him? Because I would love to know how that happened.
I don't have a clue. I know Randy had a automotive repair shop or something like that, and then he retired from that, and I think he must have just got bored, I guess, and decided he wanted to work on race cars again.
Man, I can't imagine the deal that had to be made to probably get Randy to work on that.
I don't know. When I'm retired, you probably wouldn't have to pay me a lot to work on race cars.
Zach, your next employee here. Right? Oh, man. No, I mean, I think it's just cool that, there is some direction of moving forward with racing. A lot of good points have been made here today, but one thing I want to ask both of you is, if there was one piece of advice you could give yourself now when you started racing, what would it be?
Don't race for points.
That's a good one.
That's really good.
I had way more fun when I finally gave that up, and just when the car was right and things worked out, we'd go race. If stuff was tore up and we needed a break, we parked it. When you're racing for points, it's every position matters. Back in the day when you're running against 40 stock cars on a Wednesday night, every position mattered. You stayed out when the motor was hotter than it should, you should be. There's times it just wasn't fun when you're doing that. So, yeah, and I couldn't sit here and tell you what points championships I have. I have a lot of them, but apparently they don't mean that much to me,
Right.
20 years later, that I can sit there and recite off what year everyone was. So they weren't that important.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Good luck topping that.
Yeah, right. Like that's we've been in the same boat many times. I probably just enjoy the wins more. Like, I mean, we try to enjoy them. You say that, it's kind of cliche, but they get harder as you go along. So as the older you get, the more you sort of appreciate them. And,
right. I think, and that's a good point, is where we are with points. I mean, and not only that, but with Boone Super Nationals. Now, I mean, like you said way earlier, you know, you'd have 200 cars go for 100,000 win, but you'll have 400 cars for 2,000 to win. But then you have these guys chasing national points, and you see these non-sanctioned tracks, and a lot of ways hurting because of that. I mean, I guess I don't and I'm the same way. I don't understand I get the hype of winning national points. I understand that, but at the same time, I mean, why?
Well, I did a lot of national point chasing, so that was a lot of fun. I think the week-to-week track points, that's what I probably wouldn't have chased, but national points, you're just going for your 30 best nights. So you can throw nights away, you know, and the part that was fun about that is then you start traveling. You know, there was, when I did it in the stock car, I was chasing Jeff Anderson unsuccessfully. But I went out to Harlan and run him head-to-head because my thought was the only way I'm going to catch him is to stop him from winning. So I went out there, ran on his track, and beat him and lost a motor. And then a couple years later, I was doing the same thing in the modified, went out to Harlan to race the guy head-to-head, beat him, and lost a motor. So there's kind of the theme there when you start going and traveling for national points, too.
You're going to lose it. Well, yeah, and that's weird because you don't really see that.
Not so
anymore.
much anymore.
I mean, there was a week there where it did become the International Motor Claim Association, but I think that kind of died back down. Now.
Yeah. Well, at least especially the stock car with the spec motor not being claimable, right? It's and everybody's pretty much switched to that. It's probably a better combination. So it's pros and cons, right? We always kind of said it. There was a big debate, you know, in the mid 2000s when USRA came in. It's like, okay, is it cheaper to build 3, you know, cheap motors? You're going to lose one. You're probably going to blow one up because you got to cut corners
Right.
on it, you know, or build one really good one and run it all year. But then kind of once you open that can of worms, then the really good ones aren't really good anymore. Somebody's building a better one. So it's just different. It's just kind of the way it evolved, right? So.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I don't know. It's cool to see the national points and everything. And
You did
chase
see,
that.
like last year, like Oliver was chasing it, I think, pretty good.
He was, yeah.
Around the area. And he kind of same thing. He was traveling places that you didn't see him usually. And it's kind of fun to follow somebody from the area that's going after it.
Yeah, and you guys, I mean, you have like Bray Carter and stuff.
Well, yeah,
as well.
on the BMOD side, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, which is crazy. You know, I went to high school with the kid, and now he's out here running for national points and whatnot. And, you know, it's awesome to have both of you guys here on the show tonight. And, Brad, you know, you got in the car last week, so what is next?
That was a one-and-done deal.
One and done deal.
I got an old SCS
She's
car
over
if you
there
want to
shaking
try
her
it.
head. Oh, there we go.
I'm not too serious about it. It was fun. It's fun for one night. That was it. A couple years ago, I got in Michael Peterson's car, the one that
Yes, I
Caden
remember
drives.
that.
That was fun. I mean, you realize how much different the cars were driving, and yeah, they've changed a little bit, but yeah. So who knows? I may jump in something sometime. But right opportunity comes by, I probably wouldn't turn it down. But I'm
So if
probably
anyone
not
has,
going to go out.
if anyone
and buy
has a
anything.
stock car, and you need a driver for a night, you know who to call now. And so, Pat, what's kind of the schedule for you? I know you're on your fair tour.
Yes, the annual fair tour.
Annual fair tour.
So we were here last Wednesday, of course, and then got rained out Friday night. Went down to Memphis Saturday night. Got tore up, so we've been working on the thing, fixing it. We're into Zach's today. Got some parts, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
Get it back together. So we'll be out here both nights this week, Wednesday, Thursday. Then we're going to go to Bloomfield on Friday. And then Saturday's kind of up in the air. I'd like to go up to Fort Dodge and shake down up there for the 100,000 race in August. But that's a pretty long haul, and after Friday at Bloomfield, that's usually a pretty late night. It
is.
So we'll see if we make it or
Right.
not.
So, are you still? Do you still have your pavement car?
I do. Yep.
And how's that?
Yep.
On
So
that front?
I haven't run it in a couple years.
Okay.
We had some success with it. Won the limited track championship in 2018. And then moved up to late model, which was a bigger jump than I was expecting. The only difference is you can run in the late model, you run sticker tires and a 4-barrel carburetor instead of a 2-barrel. But that's a huge difference. Like I wasn't expecting it. All the chassis rules and all that stuff's the same. And so had some decent runs, but the last few years it seems like there's more like younger guys with money that are just kind of renting rides and don't really work on their own stuff and aren't really too concerned about tearing up what they what they're driving, right? So that gets pricey. That kind of put me off on that car. I'd really like to get it back out and have another go at running late model with it. I think it's a good car. I think we can run good with it. But I have so much fun coming back here and running the stock car.
So are you seeing like the Harvicks?
Not yet. Keelan's coming up through. I see he raced one race at Hickory over the weekend, I think, in a pro car, which is like a great car down there.
Okay.
And he'll be coming through it. That his Kevin and Junior and all them bought the Cars Tour, which is a big late model tour down there. It's sort of for something local reference, kind of a Deere Brothers type caliber of tour. And there's not a lot of late model tours anymore, so it's kind of picked up for more like the old, all pro and that, kind of ASA, that kind of stuff. There's not like series like that like there used to be maybe 15, 20 years ago. So it's kind of picked up that touring slot in the market, but once those guys bought it, then it got some national attention, and so now there's a lot of guys running that series, and I'd really like to go try and run that. Sometime it's a neat deal, but it's a whole different caliber of people. And there's a lot of guys now with the way the cup sides went, where the cars are all spec. All the trickle down of guys that want to work on stuff that they can fiddle with is starting to get down into the late models,
That's
right?
Cool.
So there's a lot of Roddy Childers is out there working on Kevin Harvick's car, so it's neat to see some of them guys doing late model stuff. But that raises the competition a whole nother level because them guys are super sharp.
That'd be tough. And so one thing I want to go back to, because I thought about now, there was something I wanted to ask both of you is Columbus Junction used to be a half mile. Did you guys run Columbus Junction when it was a half mile, or was it cut down? It was cut down. Was it? Okay. So how do you guys feel about the half mile dirt tracks?
Like I said, that's all I grew up on, so I loved it, but I think it's also part of the thing that keeps cars away, but if it was just that, Bloomfield would be packed, So it's not just that either. I mean, part of it's just where you're at in Iowa, and whether you're kind of in a hot spot of where you got racers that want to come race. So I don't think there's any magic thing you can do to make a half mile all of a sudden, be what it was back in the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, I love them. They're my favorite by far. Oski and Eldon, you're hauling at the end of the straightaway is so cool. Even the Bloomfield CJ are a little kind of on the bigger 3/8 side. Right. I mean, some of the tracks that call themselves 3/8 are really quarters. So maybe those are just true 3/8. And those tracks you get going pretty fast at too. But I really like the big tracks. I think they're more fun.
The thing for me, it's not necessarily just the speed aspect. It's when they get dry slick, you really gotta watch yourself on a half mile when it gets dry slick, I think, versus these smaller tracks. When it gets dry slick at like Stewart or something, it's just you go to the bottom and you just either let it just go to the top and whatever is there, or you just hug the bottom and it rubbers down. I mean, I feel like you don't really get that at with the car counts, you don't get that.
Yeah,
it's different.
They're fun. They're fun when it's slick because you just got to slow down so much because you get so much speed down the straightaway, and there's no grip when you get there, right? So you got to have it slowed down to make the corner. It makes it more driver than you think for a big track. Once it slicks off.
Yeah, thinking back to when you had big car counts, and you could do whatever you want with motors because there was a claim rule to keep that in check. It was a lot easier to pass people when they were spinning their tires. So I was all for put the biggest motor you can in because I can pass you easier if you can't get it hooked up.
That's awesome. And so, I just think it's really cool to have both of you guys on here tonight and for you guys to take the time out of your day to come come up here and talk. It means a lot to us, and I know that there were a lot of viewers watching that appreciate you guys coming on here tonight, and I know Steve and myself both want to thank you guys. And Pat, I know you're still racing, and you have some awesome sponsors on the 34 car, and why don't you just give a shout out to everyone that keeps that thing going every fair tour and a few other races in between that you make it to.
Yep. So Vanderbilt Race Cars is on board now with the new car. So shout out to Zach and thank them for all his help in building a badass race car. Sharky Frame, JAG, Pro Street staff, Wapello County Diesel, Chalmers and Eldon, mom and dad, grandma all help out. And huge shout out to Dave Schrader. He lets me use his shop in Monroe when I'm here. Lets me stay there, the whole time, however long I need, whatever I need. Lets me use his tools and any old race car stuff he's got around that I can take advantage of. He's all about it. So that's really cool to have a place to do it. I couldn't do it without that, right? You got to have somewhere to home base from for that longer trip. So huge thanks to him.
Awesome. And Brad, again, thank you for coming on and talking about some of the past experiences you've had in your latest experience. And hopefully if there's, again, someone watching that has a stock car that they really, really want someone to drive that's very well knowledge-based.
Don't be selling it too much.
We're going to do it. We are. You can hit Brad up on Facebook, Brad Pinkerton on Facebook. You can just look his name up and he'll pop up and message him. So we'll get you back in another car at Oski one of these nights, I'm sure.
We'll see.
Well, again, thank you guys both for coming on here. So we're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll come back with some exciting racing results and things going on in the racing world in just a few minutes.
Hi, I'm Krista Sellers, driver of the 7K Figure 8 race truck. I race at local figure 8 tracks across southern Iowa. One of my good sponsors is CJ at Sigourney Motors. Next time you or someone you know is looking for a good used vehicle or in need of some minor repairs, you can contact CJ at Sigourney Motors. Give them a call at 641-224-8056 or stop by 705 East Jackson Street in Sigourney, Iowa. Hope to see you at the races or at CJ's shop.
Stop by James Family Greenhouse and Produce in Sigourney. They have a variety of hanging baskets, annuals, shrubs, perennials, trees, mulch, and vegetable plants. Plus, you can spruce up your landscape with yard decor or decorate the inside of your home with home decor. James Family Greenhouse is also a great place to stop in for some gift ideas. You got to stop in and see it all for yourself. James Family Greenhouse at 701 East Jackson in Sigourney. And be sure to follow their page on Facebook.
At Nutrien Ag Solutions, we are dedicated to your success. We partner with growers like you to expand your possibilities with unparalleled offerings. Your unique challenges are met with more customized solutions than anyone else can offer. With you, we're feeding the future together.
And we thank all of our sponsors here on Tuesday Night Tune-Up. Of course, our host venue is the Oskaloosa Pizza Ranch. Let's see, and of course, we're usually here on a Tuesday night. This is a special Monday night edition of Tuesday Night Tune-Up. So we thank Oskaloosa Pizza Ranch, Copeland Auto Bodies, Sinclair Napa, Sigourney Body Shop, Sigourney Motors, James Family Greenhouse, and Nutrien Ag Solutions in Keswick. We take it back live to Safe Grafke, who is all by himself.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. Welcome back to MNT, the Monday Night Tune-Up. Look at that, and that's not for Mountain Time. That's for Monday Night Tune-Up. So, again, we have some great racing action here over the weekend with the World Outlaw late models and sprint cars. The sprint cars were at Wilmot Speedway in Ohio as they are kind of on that kick that direction as they get ready for some racing in Eldora, but their next stop will actually be at Babs Motor Speedway over in Pennsylvania, and then they come back over. It's a whole thing that they do. Anyway, so they were at Wilmot, and then the World Outlaw late models were at Sharon Speedway. And with the World Outlaw late models, a name that has not been seen in quite a while for wins or even top fives that much. The 157 machine of Mike Marlar getting back into victory lane, holding off Bobby Pierce, Dennis Erb, Tanner English, and Brian Shirley. And Drake Troutman, who is going to probably be your World Outlaw Late Model Rookie of the Year with a strong sixth-place run, started ninth and got up to sixth. And behind him, you had Tim McCready, Ryan Gustin, Max Blair to round out, and Ethan Dotson to run out your top 10 with the World Outlaw Late Models. And if you haven't seen the commercial yet, go on to YouTube and Google Real American Beer and watch Hulk Hogan's great advertisement where he is one of the faces on Mount Rushmore, and it will change your life forever. I know Steve is probably Googling that right now, but make sure you guys go over and watch that. It is absolutely hilarious. I was watching Dirt Vision to watch Knoxville the other night. That ad came up, and I was almost crying with tears. It was one of the best commercials I've seen in a hot minute. That should definitely be a Super Bowl commercial next year. If it's not, then someone in marketing did not do their job very well, because it's hilarious. So that was on the Real American Beer World Outlaw Late Model side. We're going to switch over to the NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. They had a 2-day show at Wilmot Speedway, and only one night was able to happen. And you had the Californian Buddy Kofoid picking up the win over David Gravel. And then you had Carson Macedo, another name we have not heard a lot in the top 5 with the World Outlaw Sprint Car Series, as Chris Windham came home fourth. And then you had Logan Schuchart, Bill Baylog, Brady Bacon, Donnie Schatz, Cole Macedo, and Sheldon Hanshield to round out your top 10 with the World Outlaw Sprint Car Series. So, again, they have a lot of great racing coming up. The World Outlaw Series sprint cars head over to Babs, and then they have their Eldora show. And now it's time to talk about arguably the best touring sprint car series, and I am going to go ahead and say that right now. And we're going to start off with their last race that they had. They are racing tonight, but they did just have a race at Florence Speedway. But we'll go through some results. Brad Sweet, Tyler Courtney, Rico Abreu, Aaron Reitzel, Dason Pursley, Justin Peck, Brent Marks, and Brennan Couch, Casey Kane, and Tanner Thorson were your top 10 with that series, again, at Florence Speedway. And now this is what I find quite interesting about this. This is, again, another thing that is setting the High Limit Series apart from the World Outlaw Sprint Cars, and they are doing it right, and they used Oskaloosa's own company to do this. They are going to do a Musco Lighting Most Improved Driver Award. So they are halfway through, so now the second half, whoever has had an average finish, if you improve that in the second half of the series, and whoever has improved the most by the end is going to get $5,000 courtesy of Musco Lighting here in Oskaloosa. And how crazy is it for a couple things that, one, you haven't seen any other touring sprint car series do this. They're using Musco Lighting here out of Oskaloosa, so shout out to Musco Lighting. That's awesome, and I hope to see them getting more and more involved with racing and doing stuff like that, because that is a phenomenal idea by someone with the High Limits group. And then, is the World Outlaws going to pay attention to this and do something? Is there going to be some ramification from the World Racing Group after this year to try to match the High Limits? Because if not, I don't know how many World Outlaw sprint car drivers we're going to have next year. If I were one, I'd be looking really hard at the High Limits series and thinking, I could have, even if I have a really bad first half of the season, I could still pick up improved driver and walk away with another $5,000, which doesn't seem like a lot, but $5,000 is $5,000. And it's just crazy to see the World Outlaws have no response for any of this going on. So we'll see what happens. The IndyCar Series was at Iowa Speedway over the weekend, and what a surprise. A tornado decides to drop down 3.5 miles from the track on Friday, and all the people from IndyCar were losing their mind, and then that brought up issues with the Iowa Speedway and yada, 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 and just a bunch of hocus pocus because IndyCar drivers think that they need these massive facilities with all this, just go run the track and just be happy you have somewhere to run. And it's cool that Suck Up was able to take what Hy-Vee had to quit doing with the sponsorship for that event. So it seems like there's a lot of crazy stuff happening. I mean, only in Iowa, when the IndyCar is in town, would there be a tornado that touches down over by the track. And, most of these guys in IndyCar are from like Ireland or Spain or whatever. So it's like, oh my gosh, a tornado. Oh no, look out. Dorothy, Kansas, whatever. And so, of course, you have to have something like that happen here when the IndyCar guys are in town. So I thought that was kind of cool. So now they get a sense of what it's like in the Midwest. And, and really quick, we also want to give a shout out to the city of Albia. This isn't racing related, but there are some drivers from there. And right now they had a devastating fire in their downtown today. So we are just really thoughts and prayers are with the whole community of Albia, all the people that lost a store or people that were employed by those stores, and all the firefighters, the EMTs, CERT teams, sheriff deputies, anyone that was involved with helping with that. We want to thank you for your service and your willingness to go. And we just, again, our thoughts are with the whole Albia community right now as they deal with this devastating fire that happened this morning in downtown Albia. So that's everything that I have here. Again, we want to thank you all for tuning in on this Monday edition of TNT, the Tuesday Night Tune-Up. So we're going to say thank you for watching the Monday Night Tune-Up here from the Oskaloosa Pizza Ranch. I'm Safe Grafke, and we will see you next week here on TNT, the Tuesday Night Tune-Up. Don't forget, Wednesday night, head out to the Southern Iowa Speedway where Outer Limits Trucking Repair presents the Caleb Hammond Memorial, the 7th annual Caleb Hammond Memorial. And then on Thursday night, you can come check out the Sprint Invaders invade the Southern Iowa Speedway along with hobby stocks and stock cars. And then on Saturday night, you can come watch the Dirt Dog Promotion Redneck Rally. They'll have half cars, dirt bikes, two-man cruiser style cars as well. So make sure you guys come out. You can find more information on the Southern Iowa Fair and Expo page. But again, this has been the MTN Monday Night Tune-Up, and we will see you all next week.
All right, and we thank all of our sponsors, including our host, Oskaloosa Pizza Ranch, Copeland Auto Bodies, Sinclair Napa, Sigourney Body Shop, Sigourney Motors, James Family Greenhouse, and Nutrien Ag Solutions in Keswick.